Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done watching Riverdale Season 6, Episode 9, called The Serpent Queen's Gambit. And guys, what a crazy episode. Yeah, this was just a really, another great episode of Riverdale. As you guys know, I've been really enjoying it. Ever since we've been back from break, I've just been really enjoying, the whole superhero aspect and everything that's going on. Especially after last week's episode, where we kind of get an idea of, Jughead and Archie had that conversation about how they both have abilities. And, we had Betty come back at the end of the episode, and she found out, she has to wear sunglasses because, she gets headaches from light. And, I guess the stronger her powers get, the more headaches she gets, and the more, she can't endure light, so she has to wear, sunglasses. And, we really focus up on this now that they know that, Parzival Pickens is kind of, trying to control the town, and they kind of know that he has abilities. And as far as they know, they only know that he has the ability of, controlling people, mind control. I guess he can also hear people's thoughts, just like Jughead can, from last week's episode when, Jughead was rifling through his thoughts, and that's when, Parzival Pickens found out that, Jughead was in Pickens' head. So I really loved that moment where, he's like, oh, get out of my head, Jughead. Or are you done rifling through my head, Jughead? I really loved that scene. So they kind of know that he's a threat, and they don't really know what he wants to do with the town, besides the fact that he pretty much sent people away, as we all know in last week's episode. He sent everybody, people away in last week's episode. The people that were in Sketch Alley. So there's no more people in Sketch Alley. And that was really crazy to see that go down, where there was, that people that were in Sketch Alley pretty much, got told to go away by, Parzival Pickens. So I really like how he's kind of, starting to, what we all think, take over Riverdale, but he actually has a different thing. He doesn't want to take over Riverdale. He wants to destroy Riverdale. And we get that at the end of this episode, because we start off this episode where it's Parzival Pickens is in Archie's house. He's talking to Uncle Frank and about ideas about Riverdale, and Archie's not having it right away. He's like, get out of my house. I don't want you being here after you, because he knows that Pickens is behind the goalies doing the graffiti on their little lodge houses, and doing also not only that, but also not only that, but he is angry at him for also telling people that the homeless people to leave out of Sketch Alley and just leave Riverdale entirely. So he just does not like this dude, how he's taking over, trying to he's trying to control people and stuff, because Archie can clearly see that he is controlling people around Riverdale. And not only that, but also by him, manipulating his way to becoming a deputy, for, Sheriff Keller's, police department. He's become a deputy and stuff. He's wiggled his way through into manipulating people. He manipulated Uncle Frank. He manipulated Alice. And we really see that in this episode, that he's really manipulating, Alice and Frank. And also because when Archie tells, Parzival to bounce, Uncle Frank's I'm really disappointed in you, Archie. You know what I mean? You have, he has some really good ideas to try to help save Riverdale and help, and keep Riverdale, very peaceful. When it's that's not it. He's just controlling you, and he's just controlling Alice, trying to make it sound like that's what he's trying to do. But you banishing the homeless, and it's not him trying to make Riverdale peaceful. It's Riverdale's about helping people. You know what I mean? And as about helping your neighbors and helping your the people out in the town, not just casting them out and not trying to help them. That's not what Riverdale is. It's about building people up, not just excluding people and kicking them out of the town. And that's when Uncle Frank is not understanding, because I feel he is, in a way, getting controlled. He has to be, to not see what this dude's trying to do. But yeah, mainly big time Alice is. I feel Alice maybe more than Uncle Frank, but I feel definitely Uncle Frank is being controlled. And the only reason that, Parzival can't mind control Betty, can't mind control, it seems Jughead, and can't mind control Archie is because they have abilities. And I feel like we saw that a lot in this episode, is that they can't be easily mind controlled. And you know what I mean? Because they just can't, because they have abilities. And I feel like he sees that mainly with, I think he's, in the beginning of this episode, where he tries telling Archie something. He tries telling Archie, like, oh, like, I forget what he says, like, oh, like, don't you think that's a good idea? Or, like, I forget what he says. He's like, no, I don't think it's a good idea. Like, trying to, like, see if he can mind control Archie, but it wouldn't work. I forget exactly what he said, but he's like, no, or whatever, and he told him to leave. So, clearly, everybody is being mind controlled, and the only ones that really can't be, like I said, is Archie, Betty, Jughead, and also people that aren't falling for his bullcrap and seems like aren't really getting manipulated. Are Tony. She seems like she's not easily being able to be persuaded and mind controlled into doing what, what Parzival Pickens' like plan is up to. Mind you, I can't imagine he wants to control any of their minds, because they're on his like board, and I'm not sure if that's like a kill board and people that he really wants to take out. I'm assuming, like people that he really wants to really take out. So I feel like that's why, the only way, that's why he's also trying not to mind control them, because he wants to like kill them and not mind control them, but in mind control the other people to keep them around, but kill all the people that are on his board in some way, shape, or form. That's at least what I'm assuming, because I think Sheriff Keller was on. I don't know if Sheriff Keller was on that board. I don't even know if if Kevin was on that board. All I know was, I think Tony definitely was. Betty, Archie, and Jughead definitely were. I don't know. I don't think Cheryl was on there. Let me know if you guys if you guys remember who was really on that board. Because I know Tony, Jughead, Archie, and Betty were. I don't know if Kevin and Sheriff Keller were on there. I think Fangs was on there too. So, like, that's why it's very interesting to me to see what's, like, going on with them, is because he clearly wants to take over everybody and make it, like, sound like he's doing goodness for the town, but the people that he can't control, it seems like, are especially Archie, Betty, and Jughead. But he might be able to control, Tabitha and Tony, because they're not easily persuaded into, like, what his plans are. They're not falling for his plans. And I don't even know if they can even get mind controlled, because they're not really, like, falling for his plans. But who knows? He might not be controlling them because he wants to take them out. I don't know. It seems like I'm kind of confused what's going on, because I don't quite remember who else was on that board. And I don't know if that goes with the fact of, like, he hasn't really tried mind controlling Tony or Tabitha, at least from what I'm seeing. And I don't quite remember if Tabitha was on that list of people he wanted to take out. If not, I feel like maybe he's like, okay, I don't really care about you. I'll mind control you later. I don't really know, because we haven't really seen what his idea is, except it seems like he just really wants to, like, destroy Riverdale by kicking the homeless out of Sketch Alley. He wanted to, in this episode, we see him trying to take out through the sheriff's department. He wants to take out the goalies and the serpents. He wants to get Tony off of the council. We really see that in this episode, where literally he's doing everything and anything to take out Tony off of the council, and just to take out Tony in general and take out the serpents, meaning Fangs, and not just like Fangs, but Tony and the rest of the serpents and the rest of the goalies. Like, he's not trying to really save Riverdale as much as that's what people are thinking, because we get one scene where, like, Jughead is walking through a crowd of people at Pops, because they're all trying to find baby Anthony, because again, Parzival Pickens ends up taking baby Anthony to pretty much persuade, Tony to go, fight the goalies, because he really wants to prove to the town that the goalies and the serpents are a problem, and Tony being on the council is a problem because she is a part of a gang that does, that has violence and stuff that has a rivalry between the serpents and the goalies. And he's like, we don't have any goalies up here, a part of gangs, so why should we have a serpent up here that's in a gang? And there's violence going on, and the only way to deal with this problem in Riverdale is like what he said, for the serpents to disband, and so there won't be any more rivalry and stuff. But that's really like what he's saying to the public. But on the other hand, he's controlling the sheriff's department and and set the serpents up, because mind you, Tony thinks that she is going to save baby Anthony, but she does not know that Parzival Pickens took the baby to the goalies, and to persuade Tony to go fight the goalies, because he wants to take Tony out on the board. It seems like he wants to take her off the council board and also take her out permanently, along with the rest of the serpents. So when she goes, she thinks that the goalies took baby Anthony, and that and Twyla Twist, like, she thinks Twyla Twist took baby Anthony, but Twyla didn't say that. Again, Parzival Pickens is the one that brought the baby to them. So I don't know if he was just I think he was controlling, Twyla Twist along with the other goalies, because they end up killing themselves at the point of like when they do get set up the serpents at that location, because it seems like he was setting the serpents up to go there so they would get caught with the weapons and get caught looking like they were looking for trouble. The serpents, along when Tony was there trying, like when at the location that Twyla told them to meet them at to do the rumble. And they didn't show up because I'm thinking we end up seeing in this episode that all of the goalies end up killing themselves. And I think it was in that moment where, like, you know, Parzival Pickens was there and like manipulated the goalies and manipulated Twyla Twist to say, oh, we want you to meet us here. We have Baby Anthony, and I will give Baby Anthony to Tabitha at Pops if you and then when you know that the baby's there, then you can come and we can do this. And that's when I feel like he told them that like kill themselves and take them out. Except Twyla Twist ended up surviving somehow out of all the other goalies that died. And when they went there to go to the location that Twyla told them to meet at, they got set up by Parzival Pickens, and they all ended up showing up with the sheriff's department and ended up showing up with Sheriff Keller and also Parzival Pickens getting ready to fire at them. And that's when like Tabitha warns them, because Tabitha overhears Kevin and some other police deputy that he was talking to or whatever, or another police officer that he was talking to about like what was going on, like how like the serpents were gonna get like smoked and get taken out along with the goalies. And then Tabitha overheard that saying, what are they planning, like what is Sheriff Keller and all them planning? And it was literally an ambush. And knowing that the goal, like they did that to get them there, knowing that the goalies wouldn't even show up, it seems like that's what the whole plan was. So Kevin really is like brainwashed in this moment, him like not even caring at the fact of like the police are setting the serpents up to take the serpents out, not arrest them, but to take them out. Because there's a moment where like, when Tony gets a phone call saying from Tabitha saying it's a setup, they're trying to set you guys up, Sheriff Keller and all them are on their way. You know what I mean? And that's when Tony's like, serpents, drop your guns, do not fire. That's what they want. They want to take us out. And then that's when, of course, Parzival Pickens is like, oh, they're resisting. And then that's when she has her phone turned on saying, I'm live and everybody can see what you're about to do. So if you do anything to us, the whole world sees what's going on. And you can tell he's upset in that moment, Parzival Pickens, because his plan was almost about to work. Because mind you, he literally was about to tell the whole entire sheriff's department to fire on them. And clearly he's in their heads. Is in Sheriff Keller's head. He's in the whole entire police department's head. He's in the whole entire, he's even in Kevin's head, because Kevin wants to take Baby Anthony, like the whole like custody away from Tony and Fangs, and pretty much, take the custody of Baby Anthony and keep Baby Anthony all to himself. And that was really messed up at the end of this episode when we see that moment from, like, the sneak peek of this episode. That made me very sad, because it's like, because he says, oh, I don't want Baby Anthony to be a part of, any, like, about this game, this Serpent versus goalie war anymore. I don't want him to be in a gang. I don't want him to grow up in a gang. Like, I want him to take him out of this environment. Like, I don't want him being in a gang. And it seems like it's not fair, because Tony is a great mom, and you know what I mean, and Fangs, he thought that, he was doing what was right to stand up for Riverdale, to go after like Twyla and them, because they pretty much called upon, war when they tried taking out Archie and blowing up Archie's house. Like, they started this crap. They started it even way back when it wasn't Twyla in charge of the goalies, and you know what I mean? So like, the goalies have always started stuff out of nowhere. So that's why I'm saying, like, he was kind of like, he thought he was doing what was right, but him being caught with all those weapons, getting ready to fight, even though that's not what Tony wanted to do. Tony wanted to take the better route and just be like, look, we can disband the Serpents in the whole, gang way, but we can also help people and that could be the new version of the Serpents, where we help people. And we do like, charity things, and we do all these things, and we can do a better way without, fighting people and doing all this stuff, since we have Baby Anthony now, and we need to set a better example for, Baby Anthony, but also, have a safer environment for Baby Anthony. But that's not what, she was willing to make an adjustment to the Serpents so that way she also wouldn't lose her, seat at the council of Riverdale. But Fangs wasn't about it. He had all those weapons, getting ready to do a rumble with Twyla and all the goalies, and he ended up getting arrested, because that's exactly what I guess, Parzival Pickens knew he was going to do. And the guns were there. You know, Fangs got arrested. I don't know if he's ever going to get out of jail because I think he got arrested for having, you know, unmarked weapons and, you know what I mean, and getting ready to fight. So that just wasn't good as setting an example for Riverdale that, you know, especially because Parzival was saying that the goalies and the Serpents are a problem, and Tony being on the council is a problem. And this just proves to everybody that in a way that she didn't want to do this, but she is involved with it by being involved with things, that it is a problem. And now the town thinks that Tony's a problem. Tony's a bad mother. That's what people were saying when Jughead was reading people's minds about losing baby Anthony and, like, having baby Anthony even in the environment of a gang in general. Like, so when she got, you know, kicked off the council, and now Parzival Pickens is on the council, all because he's controlling the town. And we saw that when everybody raised their hand, when Al said, who votes Parzival to be on the court, and everybody just raised their hands like robots. He's controlling the town, and we're seeing that. And it's very, very sad that the only ones are really realizing what he's doing is, like, Tabitha. No, I think Jughead told Tabitha what about his abilities, at least I think, because she knows that he has abilities. And I don't think that Tony knows just yet, but she will find out. I feel like they'll bring in the people that, you know, are knowing that Parzival Pickens is up to no good. So I'm just excited for everybody to really fight back and everybody to break off of his spell. But I feel like that won't happen just yet. I feel like we'll be going for quite some time, especially in next week's episode where we get to see a boxing match between Parzival Pickens and Archie. That's gonna be a sick ass match. This actually is something I've been really looking forward to, because I've been wanting to know if he has Archie's strength too, and vulnerability. I really want to see if he has that as well, because he already has the mind reading capabilities like, you know, Jughead has, but he also has the mind controlling capabilities as well. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. But I'm also excited because in this episode, you know, Archie, Jughead, and Betty all find out from you know, Britta that you know, that's not Cheryl. That's actually, you know, Abigail taking over Cheryl's body, and, you know, and trying to, you know, trying to resurrect, you know, I forget I don't know why I'm forgetting, but, Thomasita's, you know, soul into Tony's body, like resurrect Thomasita's soul and put it in Tony's body on the full red moon. So that's pretty much, you know, what, like, he couldn't, like, Britta couldn't tell Jughead because Jughead went to go, like, read Cheryl's mind because they're, like, to see if, like, Parzival Pickens got to Cheryl to make Cheryl throw the Molotov at Archie. But because they kind of saw that earlier, like, it didn't start with that totally. It started with, you know, them going to Cheryl to see if, like, if he came to Cheryl at all, because they think right now it's Cheryl because they don't know that Abigail took over. And, you know, she's telling them to leave, acting like Cheryl. And then, you know, Britta's like, oh, you, like, oh, like, what's your plans with them or whatever? Like, oh, you're gonna, like, well, like, what's going on? She's like, oh, well, I'm gonna get revenge on them, and I'm gonna make them scones and poison them. And with that moment where, like, Archie already ate the scone, and, you know, Jughead was in, like, and he's like, and then, like, Betty ends up seeing Cheryl's aura or Abigail's aura and realizing, oh my god, like, are you here to poison us? And all that because she could see the red aura and know that there's a threat there. And she's like, oh my god, like, and then she ends up running to go see Archie. And Archie's already, like, scarfed it down. He's like, oh, she's like, don't eat that scone. And he's like, I already ate it. And he's like, remember invulnerability, even if she poisoned it, invulnerability? And she's like, well, Jughead's not, so they run the Jughead. She has to give him, like, a mixture of, like, river water and salt or pepper. She said something like river water, like, salt or pepper. I'm not quite sure what it was. But they made him throw it up, the poison, and, you know, she was able to save him before, you know, he died, Jughead. Like, I knew that that's what would happen. I thought at first, maybe since they have abilities, they would all be okay, because they have abilities, but Jughead would have a chance to get poisoned, but Betty had nothing to worry about, because she sees when people have bad intentions. So I just love how we're seeing their abilities, and, like, I saw that moment where they're kind of getting, like, the superheroes are about to get poisoned. And the fact that they're like, okay, like, why would Cheryl poison us? All because of the whole, her ancestor Abigail getting, you know, killed by our ancestors. Like, is that what this is really about? But then she's like, oh, I need you, like, they're like, Archie and Betty are like, oh, I need you to go read Cheryl's mind to see if Parzival got to her, and, like, this is all a part of Parzival's plan to take us out with no trace of him trying to kill us, and he can just keep his hands clean. And, you know, Jughead ends up going to, again, Thornhill, and ends up pretty much, you know, coming across Britta. Britta, like, doesn't want to tell, what's going on, but the Jughead's like, look, if you say it out loud in your head, I'll be able to hear it, and you won't get in trouble because you won't have nothing to lie to Abigail about. And here's everything that's going on, all of this, knowing that that's not Cheryl, that's actually Abigail. And they're like, okay, like he goes back to Archie and Betty saying, okay, we need to help Cheryl first. There's something wrong here. Abigail took over Cheryl's body. We got to fix it. And she goes there. Betty goes to Thornhill crying, saying, oh, to Abigail, like, but right now again, Abigail does not know that Betty knows that she is not Cheryl, but she's Abigail. So it was a cool moment where Betty says, "Oh, Archie's dead. He got lit on fire by a goalie," and she's like, "Oh, I'll brew some tea or something, or I'll turn the pot on." And that's when she chloroforms Cheryl, and it's pretty much like, and they put her back at the stake again. Betty, Archie, and Jughead, and Nana Blossom, and Britta all put Cheryl, Abigail, back on pretty much the witch burning ceremony where they're about to like burn her again at the stake. And she's like, are you really about to burn me again? Meaning like, how dare you guys do this when your ancestors did this before? And she's like, we'll burn you as many times as we have to, B. I was like, damn, Betty. So then she lights Abigail on fire, and then they reverse the curse that Abigail was setting to bring back Cheryl. So Cheryl's back now, but Abigail's soul went into I think it's the Jason's like doll, it seemed like, but they put like long hair on it because it's now Abigail's doll, because Abigail's soul is in Jason's little like doll that they had. At least I think that was Jason's doll. I believe it was. And now it's Abigail's doll. So they have to keep lighting the candles around the doll, because the doll's all locked up in a case, kind of like how the Abigail doll's locked up in the case, like from the movies and stuff. So our Annabelle doll, there we go, not Abigail doll. It's kind of funny because it's kind of like the opposite, but I just love how they have it locked away in the case. They have to keep lighting the candles to keep Abigail at bay, so Abigail can't take over Cheryl's body again. I feel like maybe they're kind of leaving it so there's a chance, like totally not destroying Abigail's soul, so Abigail will get out again, which is very worrisome that Cheryl might get taken over, like either again and maybe also permanently next time. Because it was really hard again. Like I really thought that when Britta got a hold of Cheryl would just break out of the whole barrier that Abigail put her in, and she would just be able to take over her body again. But that was not the case. It took like a minute for them to all pretty much tie up Abigail, put her at the stake, have to burn her again, and reverse her curse that she was about setting on Jughead, Archie, and Betty. But before it was finished, she couldn't. It didn't get finished when she got burned. So they had to reverse it, and now it's kind of like I'm wondering if she gets back into Cheryl's body again, will Cheryl be able to take back over her body again, or will it be permanent next time? So they're kind of leaving it where they're like, oh, Abigail can come back maybe in the later of this season or maybe next season, because I already got confirmed for season 7 of Riverdale, which would be very interesting depending on how they end the season. But I'm just excited to see where this is going, guys, because I am loving it. Because we ended this episode off where it's like, he told Tony, Kevin told Tony he wants to take full custody. Parzival Pickens is now on the council for Riverdale, and it's kind of like they've kind of assumed, they kind of know now that Parzival Pickens isn't here to take control of Riverdale. He's here to destroy Riverdale. Clearly, from what we can see, he's not helping Riverdale. He wants to destroy it. He doesn't want to take over it. He wants to destroy it, which we don't really know what his motivations are to want to destroy Riverdale and why he has that leaderboard of all the people, or I guess the bounty board on all the people he wants to take out. Again, I don't quite remember who was on that board besides Jughead, Archie, Betty, and Tony. I don't quite remember who else was on there. Again, let me know down in the comments below if you guys remember who was on that board. Because I feel like from what we've been seeing for the past episodes since we saw that leaderboard, he's only been going after Jughead, Betty, Archie, and Tony so far, and also Fangs, because Fangs was there as well. And we also see the moment where I was like, because it made no sense to me. Why would Abigail want to go work with the goalies? After the goalies, it seems like want to kill Tony. So that's what made no sense to me. I understand that to bring back Thomasita's soul, you can't kill Tony. At least that's what I'm gathering. Because if they would kill Tony, then she would have no host to put Thomasita's soul in. So I don't know why. That was one big plot hole where, like, I don't know why she, like, I know that Tony told Abigail, or, like, so-called, or technically Tony told Cheryl, not knowing it was Abigail, about how, like, the goalies blew up Archie's house and they want to kill Archie and whatever, and that's why she was kind of down, like, oh, I'll dress up as a goalie and light up Archie on fire and he won't, you know what I mean, and that will spark the whole thing or whatever, like, I guess that will help. I don't even know why she really wanted to do that, except, like, oh, as an excuse, maybe, to dress up as a goalie to do that, because it just makes no sense why she did that. I'm not sure what it was trying to do. Maybe she wanted to help out Parzival's plan on taking out the goalies and taking out the Serpents. I don't know. Hoping that, you know, it would get Fangs to want to go fight or something. I don't know. Because it just didn't make no sense to me why she wanted to do that, when she could have just not dressed up as a goalie and still did what she did. I don't really know why she dressed up as a goalie in that moment. Especially, I don't know why she would want to work with the goalies yet again when she knows that they want to kill Tony. Especially in this episode. And in general. So that's kind of plot hole-ish, because I was like, if they kill her, or why would you want to go kill the people? Why would you want to go work with the people that want to kill the person that you love? At least the vessel that of the person that you of the Thomasita that you did love back then. You still need that body to, you know, not die, so you could put Thomasita's soul in there. So I was like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. Why you would be down to do that? And even if, like, before we even heard her say that she wants to put Thomasita's soul in this body, in Tony's body, we heard it just in this episode. We just thought that she fell in love with the person that looked like Thomasita and would fall in love with Tony. I did not know that she was going to try to put Thomasita's soul inside Tony, but now she really can't do that because the red moon is, like, it passed. So I don't know if she ever does get out, she'll just want to try to date. I thought she would have just, like, fell in love with Tony, not tried to resurrect Thomasita. I kind of would have liked that a little bit more than her trying to resurrect Thomasita, because I feel like she could have just sparked up something again with Tony, and Tony would have known the difference if Abigail would have kind of acted like, you know, tried to act like Cheryl a little bit, because that's what she was acting like. I mean, Tony didn't know there was a difference before, so she could have just made Tony fall back in love with, you know, Cheryl again, you know what I mean? Like, by just being there and stuff. At least that's what I thought was going to do. Like, their love was going to spark back up again, and she would have fell in love with Tony and not try to re-resurrect Thomasita. Didn't you guys feel like that's where it was going? Like, she was just going to, like, she fell in love with Tony just because she looked like Thomasita. She would just fall in love with Tony and wanted to get to know Tony. At least that's what I thought. I was not prepared to hear that in this episode that she wanted to re-resurrect Thomasita and put her in Tony's body. Like, I was like, oh, okay, that works too. I would have liked it a little bit better if you would have fallen in love with, you know, someone that looked like Thomasita but wasn't really Thomasita. I feel like there would have been something really awesome there. Really, like, you know, I feel like it would have been, like, I just felt it would have been cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just really liked this episode, guys. I'm really loving what we're doing in the season so far. Again, it didn't start strong with the Riverdale until the last episode, but I am loving what we're doing, and we still don't know yet. Like, because my theory and a lot of other people's theories down in the comments below were all like, oh, do you think that, like, the Jughead in the Riverdale universe is, you know, when he wrote the comics for our Riverdale, he gave them abilities. And I think, and other people have said in the comments below, someone said it, where it's like, in the Archie comics, they have a storyline where they have abilities, and they're kind of trying to do that in the show right now. So I'm assuming that, yeah, the Jughead did give them abilities, and did make Parzival Pickens as a villain for them, but how, like, where is that Jughead's comic leading into for our storyline? Like, is this all going to end where maybe one of our main characters dies? Because, I mean, in the comic book, someone usually has to die before all of them, you know, triumph and get together and fight the big bad. So what will happen? Like, you know, as we all know, Jughead and Archie, and even in the show, in the beginning of the show in season 1, were very big comic book fans. I mean, how they still are. They had comic references in this episode. Like, Jughead was like, oh, slow down, Professor X. He said that to Archie. So it's kind of like, I wonder where, like, that Jughead, like, how he's writing their life out, how he's writing their comic book for our Riverdale. Like, how is this gonna end? I don't know. Will our Jughead realize, maybe kind of like, maybe hear his Jughead in that universe and know what he's up to? Or maybe will he catch on and be like, oh my god, this seems familiar, maybe this feels like something I've written before, and he'll be like, oh my god, like, somebody's writing my story and it's our life, and kind of realize, oh my god. And then maybe Archie would be like, oh my god, my nightmare I had of Riverdale is true, or something like that, or something, you know what I mean? Because remember, you know what I mean, like, wouldn't that be something cool if we saw that or something? Because we saw that moment where, like, Tony, like, when that caseworker was there, kind of had like there's a deja vu moment. And so I felt like I've lived this moment before. This moment's happened before. And she was connecting with the Riverdale self. So that was really cool. So maybe there's a chance that since so many things are happening, like they were happening over there, maybe like Riverdale and Riverdale are kind of colliding because their stories are kind of becoming one in a way. I don't know. I'm excited on what's going on, and I'm really here for it. Like, I've never been so entertained with Riverdale until this season, until we've coming back from break. Like, I've been loving this. As you all know, I'm a big superhero fan. I've said it multiple times. You guys see it on my banner. You guys see it in my videos. I'm just loving that they're doing this and they're embracing the comic books. And I kind of said it before. I kind of wish they would have started this in season 1 of Riverdale. Like, embrace the comics, but kind of made it also, but we're seeing it in real time, in a real world scenario, but embrace the comics. That would have been sick, because I feel like there would have been a lot more, like, a lot of people wouldn't have, like, judged it so much, including me, when we got the crazier seasons. We're like, okay, this doesn't make sense because we made it grounded at first, and now we're kind of doing whatever now. But I'm liking it now because they're really embracing the comic books and giving them abilities, and I'm liking it now. They're kind of embracing the weird, and I feel like they're kind of, like, even the writers are kind of realizing, wow, why didn't we start this off at first? Like, made it in a real world show, but just embrace the whole craziness of the comic books, like, in the beginning. Not, like, surprise people out of nowhere doing, like, a whole bunch of magic and stuff like that out of nowhere and weird things, and it not fit with the show, and then people leave the show. You know what I mean? A lot of the, people that watched the show originally. I feel like they should have just embraced the comics and started off with this. But I wouldn't take back anything in the world, because I do love the earlier seasons of Riverdale, and I'm happy we got them. But it would just been awesome if we would have saw a scenario where the show would have started off kind of like this. Not them getting their superpowers at first, but embrace the Archie comics a little bit more, and not have made it so grounded. So in that way, like, and it not made it so grounded. So then when we did get to, like, these moments, people wouldn't want to leave the show and not come back to watch the show and stuff like that. I just wish they kind of embraced it a little bit more in the earlier seasons, but I'm happy we're here now. I'm happy they're doing this cool storyline. And it feels like, he's really manipulating people. And I feel like we're really getting our, not gonna lie, like, probably the best super villain we've had on this show, or the best antagonist we've had on the show. Because, I mean, we've had Hiram. I haven't cared about that character. I never thought he was a good villain. I just thought he was annoying. There was moments I was like, okay, this could possibly work. But then they would, like, go a weird route, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't work. And he was just always the villain. It was kind of annoying to me. The Black Hood storyline was cool I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this might be the best villain they've had so far in the show. I don't want to jinx it just yet, because they can screw this up. But I don't know. I mean, I am loving what they're doing so far with this so far. It's keeping me entertained. It's keeping me wanting to come back for more. And yet again, guys, I'm sorry yet again that I didn't post this video yesterday. Annie, she had to go to bed for work this morning. She came back from work. And I waited pretty much all morning to really, like, do the review with her. But then when she came back from work, she just went over next door to my neighbors, and which was very unexpected. She just went over to the neighbors, and, like, when I went to go pick her up from work, and then, I said, are we watching Riverdale? And she's like, I don't really care. And then she just walked away. So I was like, okay. So that's why I'm kind of here doing it. Which, again, if she would have told me she didn't want to do it, I would have done it yesterday. So next time, hopefully things will be a little bit more clearer, and, like, she'll let me know if she doesn't want to, like, the night of Riverdale, if she doesn't want to do it, so I can just do it for you guys. Because I don't want to make you guys wait, because you guys deserve it, having it the day of. So hopefully next week for Riverdale, I'll have it just up on Wednesday, or not on Wednesday, I have it up just Sunday for you guys right away, Sunday night, instead of making you guys wait until Monday. It was very inconvenient. Again, what happened, I expected when I would have waited, since she had to go to bed early for work, that when she got back from work, she would want to do it, but turns out she didn't. But hey, it's whatever. I'll do it. Hopefully next time on Sunday, I'll be able to do it for you night of, and she'll let me know if I should wait for her or not, and if not, I'll do it for you guys on Sunday night. But yeah, guys, I really loved this episode, and again, I want to know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this episode. And guys, yet again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I love to have you guys here, a part of the fam, a part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And guys, we are almost, yet again, to 500 subscribers. We are super, super close. And that's my goal, guys, is to get to 500. Because I get to open up the community tab, and you guys know all about the community tab. It lets me ask you guys questions. It lets me put up polls and ask you guys, oh, who do you like? What relationship you guys like more? I could be like, oh, do you guys like Barchi more? Do you guys like this more? You know what I mean? I could just ask you guys some fun questions, and we could just do stuff, and like I can always be active and put up little things here and there on the channel. If I don't have any videos to make, I could just put that stuff up and talk to you guys, and we just talk about random things. So I'm really trying to get to 500, not only for the community tab, but also because that is my goal to get to 500, because I would like to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year. I would love to. And by the end of this year, it marks 2 years I've been on YouTube by the end of this year, which is insane to me. That at the end of this year will officially mark 2 years, I think. If it's not 2 years already, I think by the end of this year will mark 2 years, which is astounding to me that, I've been on this channel for almost like 2 years. That's crazy to me, and this family has grown so much, and I really appreciate it, guys. All the love and the support you guys show me down in the comments below, and I hope you guys are still entertained with these videos, because that's why I do them for you guys, is because, I'm trying to entertain, I'm trying to spread love, positivity, and motivation, and I'm trying to, achieve my dreams. But guys, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next Sunday for episode 10 of Riverdale. Peace.